joining us for the first time during Study Abroad Fair Week. I'd just like to say thank you for taking some time out of your day to learn more about study abroad at Creighton University. My name is Krista Supich-Wingander, and I'm a Global Programs Coordinator in the Global Engagement Office. And I work with students who are interested in studying abroad in Europe, India, Africa, and the Middle East. And our partner, John Cabot University for Creighton in Rome, is one of our most popular study abroad destinations. In fact, I believe that Rome is the most popular study abroad destination right now for students. So we're very excited that you've joined us today to hear a little bit more about this fantastic opportunity. And with us today, we have Jan Kiphart and Jim Antonio from John Cabot University.
Hi all.
And they're going to share a bit about their awesome program in the heart of Rome. And then at the end, we'll have ample time to answer your questions that you may have about John Cabot or about the study abroad process at Creighton in general. So with this, I'm going to pass it over to Jim and Jan.
Buongiorno. I'm Jim Antonio, and Jan and I both work for John Cabot University, although we do live in the United States. So if people ever want to get a hold of us or talk to us, it's pretty easy because we don't have as much of a time constraint. We're both on the East Coast, and we have both been to the Creighton campus a number of times, and we love it there, and hopefully soon we will be able to return and be back in person with you, because that's our most fun thing to do. What we thought we would do, first of all, I see about 3 other people in our meeting session. Krista, how many do we have, and do you have them all admitted at this point? Because I'm kind of waiting to see if you want me to go ahead and start.
That's a very good question. I just let a few more in. So I think that we have, let's see, everyone in who needs to be in, and I'll keep monitoring it as we go on. And if you all wouldn't mind just muting your putting yourself on mute, thank you so much.
And Jan, if you watch the chat room, that would be great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to step through just a few PowerPoint slides to give you a little bit of an overview. My colleague Jan, who is in Maryland right now, although she's sitting in front of the Coliseum, and me in front of the Fountain Trevi, which I'm actually in North Carolina. You can ask questions via the chat as we go along, and she'll try to answer them or stop me and answer, and then I can go forward. So as I said, we're from John Cabot University in Rome. I don't know how many of you have been to Rome, but here is a map of the downtown area just to kind of orient you. If you'll notice, the Tiber River goes directly through the middle of Rome. Up in the northwest quadrant here, this is Vatican City. Over in the southeast quadrant, you'll find the Colosseum in ruins. Up north here is where you're going to find the Spanish Steps, and then in the central part of the city, which is the ancient part of the city, where Piazza Navona, you'll find the Pantheon, the Fountain Trevi, and just across the river, this is Trastevere. This is where John Cabot is located. To give you sort of an indication of distance between Vatican City and where John Cabot's buildings are, is about a 15-minute walk, and of course over to the Coliseum about the same time. So we are right in the heart of the downtown area. John Cabot is a 4-year university, and it is American accredited. And one of the reasons that Creighton has chosen to partner with us. So therefore, the classes generally that you choose to take are easily transferable because we're an American school. It is all in English. And we do have students who are there currently attending who are going to graduate from John Cabot, and they'll be there for the 4 years. So you as study abroad students will be integrated into those classes and be able to sit with them. That's why in some cases, depending on your major, you may actually be able to find upper division classes that'll come back into your program and continue right in without losing time to graduation. Rome is a beautiful place, and I'm just going to show you some pictures as I talk about some of the things. Normally during the year, we have about 1,500 students there. About half of them are degree seeking. About half of them are the study abroad. They're Italian, international, and of course about 50% are from the United States. So even though we have a number of American students there, they're from all over the country. So the study abroad students come from Maine to Florida to Oregon to California and everything in between, just like Omaha. So it's a great diversity of students. I'll just mention that currently John Cabot is open and we are doing in-person classes, and for spring and for fall and for summer, we do plan to do that. I do want to mention that we are the American style of education. So what that means is that we have small classes, but we expect you to participate. You'll be assessed along the way through quizzes and perhaps group presentations. There'll be papers to write, similar to what you're used to at Creighton. So academically, it should be a pretty easy transition. We try to use the city as a classroom, even if it's not designated as a class that is on site. We try to use Rome whenever we can to be part of the classroom. The other portion of learning that goes on, of course, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom, is our residence life area. And we do have our own apartment complexes that are run by our staff, and they come completely furnished, living room, dining room, kitchen. They even have a washing machine in it. We have a full cafeteria because most of our study abroad students understand that the cafeteria is good, but many of the study abroad students don't opt for the meal plan right away. You can at any time because it is a full service apartment and you can cook for yourself. So therefore, we usually recommend, unless you know you want the meal plan, to wait till you get there because you're going to find some really good places to eat. And once you take one of our cooking classes as a co-curricular activity, you'll be cooking your own pasta and sauces. It'll be a really good time. We do want you to become part of the neighborhood as best you can and integrate in, not only in the residence life area or in the academic area, but we do actually play sports, recreational and varsity. So you can come to a game or you can participate if you're an athlete. We also have clubs and organizations. If you want to do something with a group, you can go out and really become part of the community, and we encourage people to do that because that's the best way to really understand the Italian culture, is to get out there and work with the people. This is the Fountain Trevi in the background. Now, we know that a lot of students want to come to do their study abroad experience and do some travel, and we understand that. And as a matter of fact, we don't have classes generally on Fridays, whether it's in the semester or the summertime. But we're not a travel agency, we're a university. And so we do some organized things that John Cabot will put together and have as travel, and you can sign up for those on our web pages. But we can't have 1,500 people all go to the bus and say, all right, hey, we're going to Florence today. So most of the travel will probably be done with you in small groups with other people. But remember, we have a whole office of people who are willing to help you, show you how to use the various websites, how to find flights and those kind of things. And of course, there's plenty of food, and we will help you learn how to cook. And I haven't been back to Rome since, gosh, I'm trying to remember now, since before all the pandemic in December. I could go for a bowl of pasta too myself right now. So just throw that in there. The neighborhood where I showed you on the map, and what makes Rome sort of interesting is that it has distinct neighborhoods, and you can travel around, and they're very walkable. The school is located in Trastevere, which is a beautiful neighborhood. It's one of the oldest neighborhoods in Rome. I remember 5 years ago when Jan, for the first time, she came with me to Rome. She had just started working, and she said she felt like she was on a movie set. She had never seen anything quite like it. So it is a beautiful part of the city, and it becomes part of your home. So if you really want to start the adventure of a lifetime in Rome, John Cabot University is a great place to do that. We have lots of other things that we can talk about and answer questions, but I wanted to give people an opportunity to do that. This is a little diagram just to sort of drive home the idea that we are a university and not just a study abroad site. So most study abroad sites, you're not going to find a registrar's office or a library or a financial aid office. We have all of those there that are for your service, and John Cabot is a full service 4-year university. If you want to take a picture of this, or you just want to keep in mind, we're on the website This is John Cab is our website right there, and then that's my contact information, and Jan's also. We have an 800 number. Our colleague Michelle Rusuelo is there. She will be, I guess, 7 hours different. So if you decide to apply and you have a question after you've passed the GEO people and you want to know something from Michelle, she's more than willing to help. So we can talk about orientation, we can talk about COVID, we can talk about anything you would like. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. Has anybody typed in a question on our chat, Jan?
They have not.
So if someone would like to ask a question or how this works specifically with Creighton or how you apply or those kind of things, I guess I should mention you would apply to Creighton first and go through the GEO office. And then once you're accepted there, it's a very simple process to transfer information into our system, and then we can begin sending documents and that sort of thing. Is anybody interested in that process?
Yeah, and Jim, if we have some quiet students here today, I'll just pipe in that again, my name's
I'm ready.
My name's Krista from the GEO, again, for those of us who joined you late. And as Jim mentioned, we have a great relationship with Cabot University. Students first submit an application through the J's Abroad portal. That's study abroad, creighton.edu/study abroad. You can start your application already for spring 2021 right there. And once you get approved or placed by the GEO, then we invite you to submit an application directly to Cabot University. And as Jim mentioned, it's a really straightforward, simple application. You don't pay an application fee. It's very straightforward. And we're here to help answer any questions that you have about that application process. Jan, did you say that there was a question?
Yeah, I did, and I just answered it, but it might be worthwhile to explain it a little bit further.
So the question was about spring and summer and in-person classes. Or to be fair, we're having in-person classes this fall, but for spring and for summer, we are planning at John Cabot to be open as in-person instruction. To do a semester, you need a visa, and the consulates back in March all closed when COVID really closed down everything. But now they're open again. So we think that if you decide you would like to go for the spring and you get accepted through Creighton, we can go through the visa process and get you a visa, and you should be able to arrive. Now, each month, the Italian government is putting in new and updated information on their COVID sort of protocols. So there may be a possibility you might have to quarantine for a short period of time or take some tests, but we plan to be open. And if you can't get a visa, there is an option that we'll talk about at some other point, but Krista happens to be pretty good about getting visas for a variety of reasons. So we'll see how that goes. But if you get stuck, we have that. Yes, someone asked about how proficient in Italian language you must be. We're all in English, so you really don't have to be totally proficient. Is there a requirement to take Italian?
That's right, Jim. So any Creighton student who studies abroad in Italy, whether or not that's in Rome or Bologna or Milan programs, have to take Italian when you're over there. And let me rephrase that. You get to take Italian when you're in Rome. And in fact, if you already know that you're planning to study abroad in Italy, please sign up for an Italian course before you go. The more you already know, it sounds cliche, the more you know, the more you'll get out of it, right? And it's very, very true. And students who really need to fulfill 6 language credits can also do that in one semester. You can take the equivalent of Italian 101 and 102 in an intensive course, or you can just take the regular beginning Italian for daily life in Rome when you're over there. So there are lots of opportunities then to learn in the classroom and then use it when you go out and buy your cappuccino and cornetto for breakfast snack, or when you are asking for directions for a bus. You'll have those basic skills to get by, and it makes you so much more confident. So learn the language as much as you can before you go, and I promise you'll love it. Any other questions, guys?
I guess I should ask this question. How many of you are looking for possibly studying this spring? I don't know how to do this, if there's a way for you to either chime in or put it on your chat and just say you're looking for spring or not. Because some of you might be a freshman, I'm assuming it's potentially possible. Are there people who are looking to go this spring possibly?
You can show your hands, everybody, if you want, or just chime in.
Raise your hand. Yeah, that's a way you can do that. I've got to work on the new ways to do things.
Yeah. And as you're milling over how to do that, I'll just mention that the John Cabot program is really great for all majors at Creighton. So students are able to take core classes or major specific classes or even electives when you're over there. So it's really a great fit for almost any Creighton student. We've had classics majors go abroad. We've had finance majors study at John Cabot, and everything in between. I guess.
Nursing. I know we've had a few nursing students.
Oh, lots of nursing majors go abroad because it's really a good fit for those academic requirements as well. Let's see. What else can we talk about? How's the weather in Rome during the spring, Jim?
Spring is probably my most favorite time of the year to go because in what they would call the winter, in other words, if you show up in January, that's my favorite month because the winters in Rome are fairly mild. I live very close to Myrtle Beach in North Carolina, and to me it's sort of a similar climate. I've looked at the climatology. So on a really cold day, it might be 40 degrees in Rome, which is really nothing for an Omaha winter. So you can still get out, you can still walk around, you can go see the sights. You know, there are almost no tourists in Rome. With a light jacket, maybe a pair of gloves and a scarf, you can go and see all of the sites. You can walk right into the Vatican. There's usually no waiting time, or the Vatican Museum, where by the time Easter rolls around, there may be a line wrapping around the building to get into the Vatican Museum. So it's fairly mild. It's much more comfortable than I think you would find in the middle of the United States. So you'll find it much more temperate. And as the semester goes along, it'll be constantly warming up. And spring then comes very early. March is just absolutely gorgeous. Summertime is brutally hot. So it's shorts and short sleeves if you come for the summertime. But the climate there is pretty temperate.
And Jim and Jan, let me just also ask, can you share a little bit about the extracurricular opportunities, the America Reads, or other volunteer options that students have when they're at John Cabot?
Sure, Jan, why don't you go ahead?
We have several clubs that students can participate in, as well as community service. So if you want to be a part of the newspaper, you certainly can join the newspaper. There are actually positions for study abroad students on our student government. So if perhaps you are in student government at Creighton and you want to continue that, you could see what it would be like to be at this American Italian university. We do play athletics, and we have recreational athletics as well as, I'm going to say, inner city athletics. So if you perhaps are interested in that, you can participate in that. Krista mentioned Italy Reads. It's one of our more popular community service kinds of things where you're actually reading.
I think we lost her for a second.
Kind of gone in and out there. Italy
yeah.
Reads.
Go ahead, Jim.
Can you hear me, Jan? Her video seems to have frozen also. The Italy Reads and Italy Writes is a way to get involved with students and teaching, actually, and it allows you to sign up, and we provide, before the semester
starts, a novel
starts,
that is assigned to you.
You're in and out, Jan. You're losing you and you're freezing. So anyway, there's a novel, as she was going to say, it is assigned to you. You read it, and then you come over and you actually are assigned to a school in Rome to work with someone who's teaching English to study to their high school students and work with them. So you're actually in the classroom once or twice a week doing that. It's a great experience. People who, you don't have to be an education major. Anybody who does it really has talked very highly about what a great experience. And all of our community service and clubs and organizations, that's what they're there to help you with, is to get involved. And again, once you get there, one of the other interesting things is we do an orientation that lasts 5 weeks or 5 days for the semester, and people will try to get you to join their clubs and organizations.
That's right. And that's really a great opportunity. At Creighton, we really want you to be immersed in the location. We really, we hope that when you leave a semester in Rome, you really leave feeling like Rome was home for the semester. And one of the best ways that you can accomplish that is really by getting outside of your comfort zone and getting engaged in some of the activities that you would normally be engaged with here in Omaha, whether or not that's jogging every day, except you'll just be jogging along a beautiful river, much like our Missouri, but a lot older infrastructure around it, or joining a choir at one of the local churches. There are many, many opportunities to become involved. I can speak from personal experience. Many moons ago, I was an exchange student in Italy. Actually, I did it twice. I loved it so much. And I can say that there's no better place really to study abroad and to really connect with the humanities, the tradition of the humanities, the arts, or even global business opportunities. There's so much going on in Rome as a vibrant modern city. And then underneath you have this history, kind of the romance of the Baroque area, all of this really fascinating, these different layers of the city to uncover. So whatever your interest is, whether or not it's food or music or maybe Vatican history, whatever it might be, Rome has something for everyone.
One of the things Jan likes to call it is a living fossil. I mean, it is actually so old, but it is vibrant, and people are there living everyday lives. It's an amazing place, and everywhere you look, even when we do our main presentations that are longer, we don't really talk about a lot of the historical sites that you'll see because they're on every corner, and you need to go explore them for yourself. People have written textbooks. It would just take us too long to show you everything. So
That's
it
right.
is an amazing thing just to walk around and immerse yourself and get lost. I showed you that map across where the central city is. The streets were built 2,000 years ago. They twist, they turn. You will get lost in there. And it's easy to find your way out. But as Jan always says, don't worry about it. There's plenty of pizza and gelato to keep you busy as you're on your lost excursion.
That is right. That's right. Before we wrap up here, I just want to give students an opportunity to chat with a few more questions. And if you're feeling a bit shy or you just don't know where to begin, you're always welcome to send me an email directly or connect over Zoom via Creighton Connect. And I'm going to just share my screen here for a moment so I can show you where that information is. Okay. So you should be seeing our Study Abroad Fair Week schedule right now. And again, we're talking about our Creighton and Rome program right now, for those of you who are just joining us now. Hi, Jan. And, we have some wonderful other programs to highlight throughout the day and into the rest of the week. For example, you don't need to be a nursing student or pre-health student to join us on one of those days. And of course, Thursday, we're going to be also talking about our programs, our flagship program in the Dominican Republic. As I mentioned, if you're interested in making an appointment to visit with the Study Abroad Programs Advisor, it's simple enough to find my picture and click on Schedule an Appointment with Krista, and I'd be happy to answer your questions then. Okay. Anything else?
Please try to stump us. This would be great. We got the 3 experts right here.
Favorite pizza type, popular courses from Creighton students. Oh, there are so many questions. Let's see. I can think of some. I might ask you a question, Jim. What is your favorite thing to do when you first get off the plane in Rome at the Fiumicino Airport and then transfer into the city? What's the first thing you like to do?
That's a really interesting question, and I look at it from 2 perspectives. One is me personally, what I like to do, and the other thing is as the leader who sometimes walked in with students, the first thing I usually tell my students to do is throw your phone in the river. Quit looking at your phone. I see people, we get off the plane and they're texting, they're looking down, and I'm looking, I said, look around you. Do you see what's here? And they just sort of go, oh yeah, right. I said, just throw your phone in there. But me personally, once I check in, I like to go and find some gelato. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for the ice cream. Just go and find. I have a favorite place right near John Cabot, in between the two campuses that we have, and just a little ice cream when I first get there. That'll set the tone for the rest of the time. And I happen to like pistachio or coconut, so it's my favorite.
Two very good ice cream choices, Jim. We have a question from Nicholas, and that's how many students typically go on the study abroad opportunity. It really depends. We usually have between, I would say, 6 and 32. And I know that's a broad number, but it really depends on the semester. Our fall semester tends to be a bit more crowded with Creighton students. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily more competitive to get in. It just means that we have more students going abroad that semester generally. And then, of course, in the summertime, it can vary. Students sometimes, decide to study abroad at 2 locations in the summer. So they might be at John Cabot doing the Doctors in Italy shadowing for 3 weeks, and then pop over to Ireland and spend 3 weeks studying in their Irish Studies program. So the summertime can be a really interesting time to study abroad as well. And then I think Nicholas had a second question. The average cost of studying abroad. Creighton students who study at the John Cabot program are part of the Creighton Inn portfolio of study abroad opportunities. So that means you get to pay your Creighton tuition and fees, and you take your scholarships with you when you go abroad. You take your federal financial aid with you when you go abroad. You pay everything to Creighton University for that tuition and fees. And then your housing and your cost of eating and buying bus tickets and all of that, you're paying directly abroad. Jim and Jan, I believe that Michelle just sent an email about those costs for spring. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Do you have it off the top of your head, Jan? I know the housing,
I know it's reduced.
Right,
okay, I think it's $3,900 for housing.
Right. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
For the spring, and it's a bit reduced this spring. And then the cost of living, you can be as frugal or as the opposite of frugal.
Extravagant.
As extravagant, thank you, as you want. A lot of students spend heaps of money on their, dining, because you're cooking for yourself, you're grabbing a slice of pizza, or getting a big meal at the cafeteria for not much money, so that you're able to cut those costs down a bit. But it really depends on you and your spending habits.
And you can also cook for yourself. So, you could go shopping and stock up the fridge and cook for yourself. So you can go as inexpensive as you would like, or, you can eat in a 5-star restaurant every night if you wanted to, which I wouldn't suggest, but it's possible.
Yes. And I'm just going to circle back to that question on cost, because students, if you happen to have tuition remission or exchange, if you're a paycheck student, that cost might look a little bit different for you, and I would encourage you to talk to me one-on-one about that. But for all other scholarships at Creighton, you're able to use that when you go abroad. Okay. Any other questions? We have about 1 more minute left.
Well, I hope this is useful. You've got all 3 of our contact information, our emails. I think my phone number was on there, so if you feel like texting, certainly do that.
It was not.
It was not on there. Let me throw it in the chat real quick here. This is my phone number if you'd like to text or even call me. It's fine. This is my business number.
Thanks, Jim. And I'll just echo, we really appreciate you all taking the time today to join us. And for those of you who may not have access to the chat, I'm just going to read that phone number so you can send Jim a message and say ciao. It's 910-547-8255. And again, my email is krista.supich@creighton.edu, and you can simply, again, connect with me via the pathway I showed you a few minutes ago on our Study Abroad website. So with that, I'm going to thank Jan and Jim for joining us this afternoon, and just say ciao and ci vediamo, bye, and we'll be seeing each other soon.
Okay, I hope to see you in Rome very soon. I need some pasta also.
Okay, okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.